In your couple relationship, if you find it very difficult to say no and set healthy boundaries, if you repeatedly lose your sense of identity, if you have difficulty knowing and naming your own needs and feelings, and if your relationship is all about give and no take, then you might be a people pleaser. Namaskar parents, I'm Dr. Meghna, the therapist mommy. I'm a clinical psychologist and a couple therapist. And today I'll talk about why some of us are people pleasers in our love relationships and how to start breaking the pattern of people pleasing. People pleasing in couple relationships is when you repeatedly place your partner's needs, your partner's wants, and your partner's feelings over and above your own. When you prioritize your partner's needs and feelings so much that it starts having a negative impact on you. But why do some of us people please? Where does people pleasing come from? It comes from three sources. One, as a response to trauma. Instead of flight, fight, freeze, those who have experienced trauma may experience fawning, which is basically pleasing, complimenting, gratifying others in order to regain a sense of safety. Children who regularly experience trauma learn that they can fend off trouble if they stay hyper-focused on reading others' emotional signals. And because of this, they become very adept at reading others' moods, but at the cost of or at the exclusion of their own. Such children, such people become habitually out of focus and lose touch with what's going on inside of them. 2. As the way you were taught to receive love. The people-pleasing pattern develops as a result of having caregivers who could not or would not recognize, validate, and sit with the emotions and experiences of their children. To be seen by caregivers, you learned to neglect your own feelings and engage with others on the basis of their emotions and on the basis of their experiences. So you became a chronic listener, fixer, or helper. And third, as a response to oppression or stigma. Someone in a position of financial insecurity might have to choose between people-pleasing or living on the street. People who face widespread oppression and stigma. For example, people lower in the social hierarchy, such as people of lower caste, lower class, LGBTQ+, and others, might be forced to tolerate difficult situations or risk further harm and the very real threat of violence. Now, what are some of the ways you can break the people-pleasing pattern? First, learn to identify your own needs and wants. Journaling can be an incredibly powerful way to excavate what you really want from beneath the layers of conditioned people-pleasing. In your journal, imagine a magic land where every preference you express is met with acceptance. Whether you suggest going to the movies or whether you suggest visiting Taj Mahal, you will always hear, "Sounds great, let's do this." If you were in this magical land, how would you choose to spend your time? In what activities would you like to participate? Where would you like to go on vacation? This scenario gives you the chance to find out what you really want when you're not making decisions based on pleasing your partner. Second, return to your body. People pleasing leads to living in someone else's mind, someone else's heart, and someone else's body. A great way to return to and prioritize the self is to literally return to the self with a grounding exercise. When you notice that you're people pleasing, like when you're scheduling your plans for the week, say, "Let me think about that," and take a pause. Take a full deep breath and notice how the air enters and exits your lungs. Feel the pressure of your feet on the ground. Spread your awareness to the further reaches of your body. Notice your toes, your fingertips, your scalp. Tuning into your own body recenters you as, the locus of your own experience. From this place, you might ask yourself, what do I want right now? And see what happens. Third, set healthy boundaries. Boundaries are a form of self-protection. They clearly assert what you will or will not tolerate and set clear expectations and limitations in relationships with others. A simple breakdown of the process looks something like this. 1. Notice when you feel resentful or angry or overwhelmed or burned out in your relationship with your partner. 2. When these emotions arise, ask yourself, what unmet need is this emotion drawing my attention to? Right? What is the unmet need? Do you need more space? Do you need more affection? Do you need your partner to chip in with household tasks? Do you need a break from your partner's sexual advances? Third, consider how you might state this need to your partner. You can use simple statements like, in the future, please dash, or I feel dash when you do dash. Please don't do this anymore. Fourth, state your boundary. Some boundaries may feel more challenging to set than others, like maybe asking your partner to take on their fair share of housework feels easy, while setting boundary in the bedrooms maybe feels harder. For the most challenging boundaries, consider writing down some simple scripts in advance. You might even practice stating them aloud in the mirror before saying them to your partner. Fourth, avoid neglecting self-care at all costs. Those who grapple with people-pleasing should be wary of small self-sacrifices, like giving up your own sleep to watch a movie your partner really wants to watch, or signing up for swimming which your partner likes, instead of, say, dancing which you like. If you sacrifice your needs at the beginning of a relationship, doing so can quickly become a rule instead of an exception. Like all habits, this can be a difficult one to break. Basic self-care is a necessary step for a strong sense of self. Make a list of your own non-negotiable basic self-care, the activities you must do to feel healthy and stable. This can look like, getting enough sleep, eating healthy, exercising, meeting up with friends, or staying within your budget. For the recovering people pleaser, it's very important to prioritize these fundamental self-care needs. The partner who is best for you will want you to take care of yourself. And finally, notice when you're taking your partner's emotions as your own. When you're in the thick of people pleasing, you might not even notice that you're taking on others' emotions as your own because it comes so naturally. Remember that helping a loved one in a time of need is natural, but feeling responsible for fixing their pain can be a sign that your emotional boundaries could use some bolstering. When you notice yourself feeling a heavy emotion in your partner's company, I recommend asking yourself, is this feeling mine or am I feeling their emotion? If what you're feeling belongs to your partner, instead of onboarding their emotion or rushing immediately into problem-solving mode, ask, how can I be best here for you right now? Are you looking for advice and solutions or someone to just listen? Breaking the people-pleasing pattern in your relationship does not mean that you're going to become a cold and selfish or demanding partner. It simply means that you won't find yourself in an imbalanced partnership that leaves you feeling resentful. This is the Therapist Mommy signing off.